Against all odds, NRG are your 2023 summer LCS champions. Let's kick off the pit. Let's go back to the beginning of this weekend. Team Liquid versus NRG. Most people actually were favoring NRG, at least around the arena. I'm not sure about what the analysts were predicting. Honestly, I have not watched a minute of the broadcast. Obviously, I've been here doing things. But it seemed like there was definitely some NRG favoritism that existed, and that was fine. Even though I was picking Team Liquid, I thought Summit would take over. Dokla put him in a body bag for most of the series. Not like crushing him, but playing well enough to negate exactly what Summit was doing. FBI, during that series, was going to be the big question mark for me, because once again, he's never had a convincing series in a stadium like this. He's always kind of been there for the moment, notably almost got bested by Cowrie coming in for Evil Geniuses last time he was here. But now he stepped up massively and was keeping up with Yawn, arguably performing better throughout the entire series. Contracts would have these games where it would flip, because by all means, the NRG versus TL series was not clean. Nothing about this weekend was necessarily clean, but it was entertaining. And you know what? It went to 5 games. And unfortunately for Team Liquid, the experience, the rings were not enough. NRG was able to pull through, which is astounding considering they lost game 4 in like 18 minutes, which once again brings up the question of how did Mad Lions lose in 16? I will never know. At all. Watching that in person, how do you lose in 16 minutes? Dear God. But it was the fact that they were able to bounce back and have that mental resilience was unbelievable. So coming into today, I think it's safe to say everybody, myself including, was picking Cloud9 to win this series. 3-0, 3-1. I mean, people were hoping for Game 5, but if we're being honest, nobody really actually thought we were going to get all the way to Game 5. We didn't, but not in the way you thought it was going to happen. Dokla humbled Fudge this series. Now, granted, he got more jungle attention than Blabber was giving Fudge in top lane, but Dokla put the beat down. It was consistently getting into the back line, getting kills, putting pressure on Berserker. M&S, we'll get to that in a second. It was a great series for a man that felt like he was constantly overlooked, that you put him on these carry champions and people were like, he's not going to be as good as the other players. He stepped up massively in this series and was a rock for them alongside FBI. I mean, his stat line speaks it all this weekend, or not even just this weekend, this series. Game 2 or 3, he had 16 kills, 0 deaths, or 1 death. I don't know. It was unbelievable. FBI proving myself wrong, and I owe him an apology. I shouldn't have doubted. I mean, it's reasonable to doubt whenever somebody hasn't performed all that well on the stage, but you've proven it. You shut me up, you shut everybody else up, and that's all that matters. And good frickin' job to FBI. Contracts. If you paid attention during the opening ceremony, you could see in his introduction that Contracts was crying. He was a little bit in his feels, in the emotion of the moment, which bled into Game 1 because he had a terrible Game 1 and got gapped pretty hard, which allowed Cloud9 to get their only win of the series. But he was able to go back, collect his emotions, bounce back a little bit. Yeah, there's the FBI MVP. Look at that. 2-1, 9, 16-1, 5, 8-1-4. That's absurd. Ignar yesterday was by far and away the MVP of that series, carrying NRG throughout the entire thing. But then today, I'd say it was a little bit more of a backseat compared to FBI, Palafox, and Dokla kind of making more of the plays for the team alongside Contra. In mid lane, I'm not going to say that Palafox had a great series. I think Palafox did his job incredibly well, which is good. They won. That's not to take anything away. But M&S, yeah, I guess we got to talk about that. M&S kind of ran it down this series, if we're being entirely fair. Game 4 was the perfect example of the one game where he goes up. He's 4-0 on Yone, proceeds to immediately chuck away 4 or 5 deaths. And I felt so bad because it's C9 was in a position to push us to Game 5 and just whatever was going on with M&S this series cost them. Berserker was never really put in a position to carry all that much. On the Zeri game, he had a few chances, but it never really came through. The Draven game, they didn't really make the advantage that they should have. But it's not like he got gapped. He got gapped in team fights, but that was more the entire team winning fights versus C9 just not playing fights all that well. And a lot of that coming on the fact of M&S just not hitting abilities, not being in key positions, missing Ari charms, missing Yone ults. Like, I don't want to pin an entire series on one individual because it's a team effort and a team game, but that's a very difficult series to win when M&S is playing like he was right there. I do want to give a special shout out to Berserker though, and I'll play the clip now and then give you context afterwards.
Last one, untouched, it felt like on the zero. This one, really stepping up at the right moment. ACOM as well as FBI were really coming under fire when things weren't working for this team. They were the change.
This was immediately after they lost, and they're going back in the tunnel, and there were a few fans that stopped by. I didn't see if like Fudge or anybody else was doing it, but I noticed Blabber was the only one that was still signing whenever I like looked over, and there might have been others, but I just want to give a special shout out to Blabber that despite the loss, despite getting crushed in this finals, like he still took the time in that moment to sign jerseys for fans, and that is what a face of the LCS should be. And I cannot emphasize enough how proud I am of him in that moment of having the sportsmanship and the humility to go out and take care of the fans regardless of your emotion in the moment. That it deserves more recognition. I hope putting this clip out there later will like get him the recognition that he deserves on that, because that is so good. This is the final episode of the pit for the season, so let's just address some other things like around this weekend, like general commentary. Dokla doing laps now, which is great. Attendance this weekend was really good. I talked to Travis Gafford a bit about it and asked him like compared to spring, because I wasn't at spring, and spring looked like it was fairly empty. There was definitely some empty seats and empty patches around, which reinforces my point of like, I don't want to sound ungrateful to like everything that we get here, but I really do think that we need to go to the LCS 2021 spring split style of like stadium seating and packing everybody in more and just letting everybody enjoy it from that point of view. I get it reduces the amount of like seat suiting that's available, but I really think that needs to happen just so that like you're just maximizing out. It's a better experience for everybody when it's like that, in my opinion. Even though like the round setup is great, I will also say we've had the same stage now for I think like 4 or 5 splits, and like going to that other style is like a really nice change of pace when you kind of mix up the two between, like even if that's a spring thing or even just a summer, like I don't know, but like I want that to return because I think that's the optimal way as of right now, given the amount of fans we have to view this. That's not to say that the arena was empty. It was like almost entirely full, like barring the patches for the areas that were available. But yeah, just a small comment there on that. Also, we got to try something to reduce the LCS finals ticket price. Tickets were going on market today for like $20, and I honestly think if tickets were $20 from the beginning, this entire place would have sold out. I don't know if that like is eating the cost for Riot, but I feel like the more people that you can get in the door here, the more they'll spend on merch and on food and beverage, assuming you get a percentage of that. That I think that'll be worth more than the $50 extra that you're charging people per day to get them in here. I think filling it up is going to be way more important, and it's like the single most important thing that you can do. I don't know. A quick comment on my tech that I got, or a tech test I got to do down on the stage. It was so much fun getting to play on the LCS main stage. Not often that you get the chance to do something like that. I inted. I was supposed to play top lane. I ended up playing jungle, played Xin Zhao, and just ran it down. But like, you don't understand the amount of white noise that gets pumped into those headphones. It's absurd. Like, you don't hear the crowd. You can feel the vibrations of stuff, like whenever bass drops, stuff like that. But like, you can't hear the crowd until you like lift off the headphones, and then all of a sudden, like, it just surrounds you. It's like, I hope people can experience that at least once in their life, because oh my god, is it incredible. Even if I ended it, I don't care. It was still so much fun. The final thing that I'll talk about in this episode of the pit, which I know is going to be shorter, but I want to get out of here and go to the different areas out of respect to the staff and everybody else here. I got the chance to talk to the head of America's esports within Riot. He oversees Valorant, League of Legends, and everything. I got the chance to talk to him for like 15 minutes, and I just want people to know this, because obviously I can't reveal like details of like our one-on-one conversation out of respect to them, but I just want people to know that like I get there's a lot of problems going on with North America right now, and by all means I have my gripes and like I raise them where at all possible. These people do care, and I get that they're like, we might not agree with their choices, I might not agree with their choices, like the weekday change, but there's no denying that at least the people at that level that I've talked to really love this product and really want to get it in front of more people. They might not agree with like all the road shows that I would personally do, but the passion is there. And I just hope that people understand that, because I know there's a lot of like anti-Riot, like, oh, they don't care about the LCS, they're gonna close it down, they're gonna do all this. And I just like, I want you to hear that from me, and if you don't believe me, that's fine. Hopefully their actions speak louder than their words in the upcoming years and the upcoming splits. But if you take anything away from this, is that please know, everybody that I've talked to that works on this product, both internally at Riot, at the media here, the fans, everybody around, loves it and wants it to succeed. And hopefully going into the future splits, we can all be on the same page, from the teams to the owners to the staff to Riot, to us, like content creators, all of it. We can all get on the same page and grow this thing, because there's no way that you can tell me that we can't make something special out of this when we have 10,000 people in the area that are willing to come out and view this on a consistent basis. I promise you they would come out even more if you have more events out here. Just know we all love this esport. We all love this game. And if we all work together, we can grow something absolutely incredible. That's it for the pit this split. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I will still have a bunch of off-season content about general League of Legends, talking about esports, breaking down like some of the issues that I believe the LCS has, some of the benefits, etc. Everything. Like, you'll still expect 4 videos a week from me once I get my internet set up in our new apartment. But yeah, I won't talk your ear off anymore. Thank you all so much for making opportunities like this possible for me. And I look forward to seeing you in the comments, in the crowds. Anybody that sent me picture or that took pictures with me this weekend, be sure to post them. I'll retweet them. And yeah, I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Have a good night.